Hey guys, welcome back to Troy Lions Fonza. Been gone for a bit, but I finally got down to getting up and making these playoff predictions for the 211 through 212 season. First, want to say that man, it's great to see the Lions in the playoffs. I'm glad we were able to make it. We had a little tough stretch there, but we got it done. And all right, let's get started, shall we? Let's start with the AFC. First, you got the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Should be a good game. I think it's going to be really close. Going to go right down to the wire. They had their rematch of one of their the regular season games. So, yeah, the Texans pulled that one out in the last minutes of the game. It's really going to come down to which defense plays better, and then you definitely got the two offensive X factors, if you want to put it that way, on both sides. You got A.J. Green and for the Cincinnati Bengals, and then Andre Johnson will be back for this one. So you got two great receivers, and of course you got Arian Foster, and then you also have Cedric Benson for the Bengals. So it's going to be, I think this is going to be more defensive than anything, but I think it's going to come down to those X factors there, which one steps up. It's a tough game for me to pick, but Texans are at home, but I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to take it, but this is going to be a close game. If Texans take it, I'm not going to be too surprised, but either way, first rookie going to get their first playoff win, and it's going to be a good game. But yeah, I'm picking the Bengals to win the rematch here. And then next you have the let's see, should we go we'll go with the NFC for the Giant. We'll go with the NFC with the Giants and Falcons. The Giants are going to be at home. Won that last game against the Cowboys. Pretty good game, the Cowboys were starting to come back a little bit, and just secondary had a couple issues stopping them there. So they won the division, and then you have the Falcons, who beat the Tampa Bay Bucks to close up the season and wrap up that 5th seed with the loss of the Lions, of course, to Green Bay. This should definitely be a good game. The Falcons having their ups and downs on offense. The Giants, they've had a couple too, but I think they're a tad bit more consistent right now. It should be a good game. I'm going to have to go with the Giants, though. They're at home. And their front, I think, is going to come to play. Just playoffs, and the intensity goes up. But I don't expect the Falcons to lay an egg. They've had a couple games where they, especially against the Saints, I didn't expect that. I expected that one to be close. But I think the Falcons are just struggling to find their identity on offense. I think the Giants have down what they want, so I'm picking them just because I think they're a tad bit more fluent on what they're trying to do on offense. The Falcons still, they got to work on a lot of things. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Giants in that one. I think that will also be a good game. Then you, of course, in the AFC, the other game, you have the Denver Broncos hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will be coming in. So that should be a decent game. I'm going to have to pick the Steelers in this one. It's really, I just don't see Denver putting up enough points on these guys. I don't see them getting over 11 points at most on the Steelers, and the Steelers will at least get 20, I believe. So really comes to, I don't know how close this one's going to be. It really comes down to Big Ben's health and how much they're able to force the ball downfield. If they play a small ball, it could be close in the end. Well, you never know. The Broncos could take this. If it's a close game in the end, you never know. But right now I'm going to go with the Steelers. Just from what I'm seeing on both sides of the ball, I like what I'm seeing. Big Ben is he's not at his full percent, but where he's at right now should be enough to beat the Denver Broncos. But a couple of the X factors, you probably have Willis McGahee, and then you also have to see how the secondary of the Denver Broncos will play against a lot of the speed guys like Mike Wallace. So he's definitely a guy to watch. And then on the Broncos side of the ball, you definitely got to watch their run game. And yeah, so it's going to be, it really depends what comes down to these defenses. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm picking Pittsburgh. And then, of course, you have the Detroit Lions going into the Superdome to play the New Orleans Saints. Going to be a tough game for us. Rematch of another rematch of the regular season. Saints are at home. They're really good at home, and I'm just glad the Lions are made it. But I'm not sure if we can beat the New Orleans Saints at this point. They're playing just extremely well. They're at home, and it's going to be a tough crowd there. But I do expect this to be a good game. If the Lions can control the time of possession and not score points while they're doing it, and not shoot themselves in the foot, they do have a good chance in this game. But there's a key points. You got to watch Graham, the tough guy to cover, and then you also got Marcus Colston, so it's going to come down to covering those two, and then of course you have to try and generate some kind of pressure on Drew Brees. So it's good that we have Dalmas back. He'll help in the secondary. Our defense is pretty healthy for the most part. The team is in general. And then on the Lions offense side of the ball, you gotta besides Calvin Johnson, I think that the X factor in this game is going to be one of the guys I've talked a little about that I like what I'm seeing is Titus Young. He's starting to step it up a bit. And Pettigrew's got to also step it up a bit. And then you got to have Burleson do his thing underneath a little bit and try and help have Titus on the other side take the top off the defense, because he'll get a lot of one-on-one coverages. And of course, Calvin, if you can get him open, then we can get him involved too, because if you can get him involved, then you're going to get everybody else going. Yeah, but we got to try. I don't think it's a great idea for the Lions to try and do a shootout here. Well, it's probably going to turn into a shootout regardless, but I think it'd be better if they could just slow the game down a bit, run the ball, even though we're having a hard time, maybe get some curl routes and not spread the ball too much unless we need to, kind of like last time we tried to control the clock, but it will depend on if we can run the ball or not. So yeah, but in the end, I think I'm going to pick New Orleans in this game, but I think it will be a good one, and the Lions do have a chance in this, so don't get me wrong, they have a chance, but I'm going to pick New Orleans. Now going into the next games, with that said, I think New Orleans would be taking on the San Francisco 49ers, which should be a good game, so we'll see how that goes, and I'll probably have my picks for that after this. And then on the flip side, you'd have since I picked the Giants to win, they'd be hosting Green Bay. Green Bay would be hosting them. That would also be a good game, a rematch of the regular season, so that should be a lot of fun. And then on the AFC side, you would have I believe if the Bengals win, yes, they'd be playing the New England Patriots. Tough task. The Patriots defense is struggling, but it would ultimately come down to the Cincinnati Bengals offense could generate enough points, and their defense hold Brady enough to make it close in the end. But we'll see how that one goes. I'm not going to make any picks just yet. I want to see what happens with these first set of games. And of course, Steelers would be going against Baltimore, and that's one I think we all saw coming after the last loss the Steelers had against the Ravens in the regular season at home. But you guys leave me your thoughts. Tell me what you guys think is going to happen here, and I'll see you next time on the Detroit Lions Fonza.